2015 Subway Series, Mets at the Yankees. Game 1, Michael Pineda versus Jacob deGrom. Michael Pineda absolutely dominant. Jacob deGrom, stage seemed a little bit too big for him in the first game. But Matt Harvey, no stage too big for this man. Stage was set for him to enter Yankee Stadium and pitch at his favorite team's mound for the first time in his professional career. This is your Matt Harvey Report on SidelineBuzz.com. I'm your host, Greg Larnard, and this is The Word with G, where you sit back and listen, and I'll explain. So Matt Harvey enters Yankee Stadium to face CC Sabathia, a matchup that we'd seen earlier in the spring during spring training. This time it was for real. And Matt Harvey, absolutely brilliant, throwing 107 pitches over 8 2/3 innings, allowing 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. And no, he didn't get the complete game, but he had an opportunity to, and he kind of let it slip through his fingers. Terry Collins was talking to the media after the game, and he was thinking about taking him out after 8 innings, but Matt came into the dugout after the 8th inning and said, "I want this one. This one's mine." He got the opportunity. Terry sent him back out there. They had a pitch count of 105. Gets the first 2 outs. Mark Teixeira singles, and then he walks Brian McCann on 4 straight pitches to bring his pitch count up to 107. And at that point, Terry Collins gave him the hook. And obviously, Matt Harvey, being the ultimate competitor that he is, was not happy about it. You could read his lips and see that he was saying, "Are you kidding me? Come on." A little upset, but didn't want to show up as manager. He's professional. And after the game, he said the right things. He said, understand, he understood the decision, that it was probably the right decision to take him out at that point. He was kind of running out of steam a little bit. And as the season moves on, his arm gets a little bit more conditioned and he can throw a little bit more pitches. They don't want to rush him into throwing too many pitches too early in the season. And I think the barometer for Terry Collins was, hey, once he walked Brian McCann on 4 straight pitches, that was it. Because we know Matt Harvey, his control is phenomenal. Doesn't walk a lot of guys, and especially not on 4 straight pitches. So that was a good indicator that Matt Harvey's night was done. He pitched brilliantly. They let Carlos Torres come in, clean up the last out, and he did just so. And the New York Mets defeated the New York Yankees 8-2 on Saturday. And I believe it was the right move by Matt Harvey. Like I stated, they are trying to work him back after Tommy John surgery, getting his arm ultimately conditioned, letting him pitch deeper into the season, maybe throwing a little bit more pitches as the starts go on. It was ultimately the right move by Terry Collins. I agree with it. So what's next on tap for Matt Harvey? He will not pitch in the series against the Miami Marlins the beginning of the week, but he will pitch against the Washington Nationals when they come to New York in the middle and later in the week. So that'll be a good matchup against the rival Washington Nationals. I'm sure he'll be amped up. And to go back to the Yankees start just for a second, that's what dominant number 1 starting pitchers do. They do not let their teams lose 2 games in a row when you have an opportunity to stop it. I told whomever I talked to that there is no way coming into this game on Saturday that Matt Harvey was going to let the New York Mets lose that game. I said there's no way. After Jacob deGrom didn't pitch well, it was kind of the first time in a while that we'd seen him not really have good stuff and miss his command. His command was off and missing his spots. I said there's no way that Matt Harvey's going onto the Yankee Stadium mound and not dominating. And he didn't disappoint. He did exactly that. So I look forward to him pitching in New York again, and I guess New York, Queens, New York, not the Bronx, and facing the Washington Nationals and kind of setting the tone back with the National League East opponents again. So that'll be something to look for. Something else you can look for is Rafael Montero starting on Tuesday, getting a spot start against the Marlins. So that'll be interesting. It'll be his first start of the season. We saw him a couple of times earlier in the year out of the bullpen. They recently, a couple of weeks ago, sent him down just to kind of stretch his arm out, get him ready for this start. And he will be getting the ball on Tuesday for the Mets. And I'm sure they'll send down a Muno or maybe a Robles. We'll see which way they want to go about it. But on Sunday night, the Mets ultimately fall to the Yankees, losing the series 2-1. They lost the game 6-4. And I got to tell you, both starters for the Mets and the Yankees, Nice and Eovaldi, were not particularly good at all. Eovaldi had spots where he looked phenomenal. We know his stuff is good, but he can't harness it yet. This is the first time I've watched him since he was with the Marlins. He cannot really harness his stuff. He can go 4 batters in a row like he did last night, strike out 4 straight guys, and then he'll walk 2 guys, give up 2 doubles. They'll score 2 or 3 runs. He's got to become more consistent. And John Neese, he started the year off phenomenal. This start not really good. And I could kind of tell his arm slot was all over the place last night. He was dropping down too much. They say his shoulder's not an issue. We'll see. You can never trust the Mets with their injury issues and what they to say about injuries. But John Neese just not in command of his pitches at all last night. A-Rod took him deep. There was a couple guys that hit 3 consecutive doubles off of him. He was just not sharp. And Eovaldi couldn't even get out of the 5th inning. Neese shouldn't have even got to the 5th inning. Both starters just not very good. Both bullpens, however, did pretty well. The Yankees bullpen I was particularly impressed with. Betances and Andrew Miller at the back of the bullpen, great. Absolutely phenomenal. First time I've seen them all year. And Betances stuff, I got to tell you, his stuff, it rivals Familia. Jerry's Familia stuff. It was phenomenal. Making the middle of the Mets lineup look foolish last night. And what else looked foolish was the Mets defense, committing 4 errors, another 1 or 2 on mental mistakes. Eric Campbell, he was on first, 1 out, fly ball to right field, and he just took off. Just went around second, heading to third, like there were 2 outs. They caught it, threw it to first, doubled him off. So Mets kind of have to get back on track here in Miami after a rare bad game, but still they're 14-5. They have the best record in the major leagues right now, and they go back and facing National League East opponents. So that'll be important for them to continue their winning ways against them. And again, separate themselves. Good teams separate. They can separate themselves from the rest of the division. The Nationals are struggling right now. Miami's been hot of late, so if we can cool them off, this will be a good showdown in Miami for the New York Mets. So this is your Matt Harvey report on SidelineBuzz.com. I'm your host, Greg Larnard, and this is the Word of the G, where you sit back and listen, and I'll explain. We'll catch you next time.